David, we're back together after observing Rosh Hashanah. We're coming back together tonight for Yom Kippur, holiday that is associated with the idea of judging. Traditional Judaism, we're judged by an external deity who determines whether we live or die. And from our perspective, a humanistic perspective, it's about our actions this year against our ideals. And I've just been thinking about that we're living in this very harsh time, and how might we approach judging a little differently this year, given how complicated all of our lives have been. What are your thoughts?
That attitude of judging doesn't work for me necessarily in normal times. And especially now, I think it's a time of reflection. What have I done? What could I do better coming up? I love the idea that you're not atoning to the higher power, you're atoning to people. Like you're cleaning up relationships. And I think we've all been under a ton of pressure and perhaps not been our best selves. I can speak for myself. I've not been my best self at times. And so to judge myself harshly is not going to help me move forward. But to reflect and learn from it and say, okay, when I'm faced with this situation again, how do I handle it? Right. And what have I learned over the last year? And what do I want to learn in the next year?
Mm-hmm. And maybe even more so, what have I learned in this past 4 or 5 months? Yeah. Because the year has really been taking this bend in the road that has, I think, put pressure on all of us in different ways. So it's like a pressure cooker. It's added intensity to the experience of being alive. I like the idea of reflection or judging, is that we give ourselves some space, a little bit of a pass, let's say. Not that we could do awful things, but that we really may have been less than we want to be. And as we're standing here tonight at this moment, just think about, how do we regain our strength? How do we refine our focus? How do we find our values? And how, in the midst of being tired?
I mean, we're in the middle of it.
Right.
And we don't have any idea when it's going to end necessarily. And so it's really hard to be reflective without judgment, because you're like, oh, I should be doing this better. I should do this, instead of being like, okay, I need to give myself some grace, some gentleness,
And I think it's that we give ourselves a little bit of space as we move forward too, because I'm pretty sure I'm going to stumble again. I'm pretty sure that, as this keeps on going and it wears on, it's going to continue to wear on me. And so even though I may aspire to be my better self in the next months to come, I got to know that if my patience is a bit thin, it's going to be a bit thin again. And that we're going to go into it with sort of that attitude.
Well, and it's to be realistic. I think oftentimes we come into the New Year season and like we all have these pie in the sky promises of things that we would like to do. I think right now our promises are just to be patient with people, to be patient with ourselves, to kind of work through the day-to-day, and to get up every morning and just put one foot in front of the other, which is that sense that this whole season is about, which is, here's an opportunity for us as a community to gather together online and have these shared experiences to kind of recharge our batteries and move forward. Because it can feel very alone. I mean, this period of time has been very isolating, and there's a sense of community needing to come together, a community, have a shared experience, which are these services, and then move forward.
It has been 10 days since we've been together. We began this high holiday journey on Rosh Hashanah, and now we come to Yom Kippur Eve. And I'm so pleased that Rabbi David Burstein, who's a member of our rabbinic staff here at Congregation Beth, is once more with us. And you had a good week and a restful 10 days in between the holidays?
I did, thank you. And I'm looking forward to hear Terry sing Kol Nidre this evening and kind of continuing on with this new way of doing services.
It is a new way. This is, maybe it's a little bit more familiar. It'll feel a little bit more natural, given that we've done this for Rosh Hashanah. And I want to thank Peter and Carrie Resnick for opening up your house and being with us. How are you both doing?
Thank you for having us. We're happy to be able to participate in the services with everyone. Thanks a lot for letting us join in.
And Sharon Sexton, thanks for opening up your house as well. Thank you for inviting us in.
Absolutely, my pleasure.
Well, it's so nice you were willing to open. And Joey Taylor, thanks for opening up your house. Joey's here the man behind the camera, so the man behind the curtain, making sure we're all doing our job. And it's nice. I mean, this is a totally new experience for all of us. Maybe we're a little bit used to it from Rosh Hashanah, but the fact is you're opening your houses to us and we're opening our houses to you, and you invited us in. So this is a time for us to pause, to recalibrate, to think, to gain some perspective on the year that's ending and the year that is before us, and to get in touch and to think about our deepest and most profound values. Tonight, we pause as together we observe Yom Kippur.
As our ancestors have done for thousands of years at this season, we gather on Yom Kippur to continue our period of self-reflection. We have set this interval apart from and above the routine of everyday life. As we join in this service, we assume the responsibility for self-scrutiny. We declare our willingness to consider every aspect of our lives.
We walk the path of self-examination and recognize that it's not an easy one. We find that we have failed to hear the cry of those who need us. We have faltered and turned aside from our responsibilities. We have fallen short of our goals. On this evening, as we hear Kol Nidre, we allow ourselves to feel the pain of our failures, to understand the depth of our shortcomings. By walking this path, we can find self-acceptance. We can allow ourselves to grieve for what we are not. If we can determine new paths and set a straighter course, then we can hope for a better future.
As it says in Ecclesiastes, L'chol zaman ve'et, to everything there is a season, L'chol hafetz tachat hashemayim, and a time for every purpose under heaven.
A time to be born and a time to die.
A time to plant and a time to reap.
A time
to kill and a time to heal. A time to break down and a time to build up. A time to weep and a time to laugh. A time to mourn and a time to dance. A time to cast away stones and a time to gather them up. A time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing. A time to seek
and a time to
lose.
A time to keep and a time to cast away.
A time to cast away.
A time to
rend
and a time
to sow.
A time to keep
a
silent.
time to keep silent.
A time to speak.
And a time to speak. A time for love and a time for hate. A time for war and a time for peace.
As the leaves slowly turn from green to brown, we turn our thoughts inward. As days change from the bright sunshine of summer to the more pensive, quiet coolness of the fall, we allow ourselves a time for thought. Our thoughts, like kites on a windy day, fly freely, soaring amongst the clouds, coming to rest against the ground. We think about the passage of time, a river swiftly flowing along its course. We think about those we love, some no longer with us, others growing, changing, moving onward. Often we wish we could, like a camera, record a moment in time and hold it forever still. Yet we cannot, for the river of time surges, bringing change, upheaval, carrying us into the unknown.
What is left for us to do? We cannot halt the turning of the seasons, the passage of time. We cannot turn back, altering the days, the years that have been spent. We cannot bring back the loved ones we have lost, nor keep our young from growing older. And so we turn our thoughts inward, reflecting on the moments we have cherished, determining to give value to moments which lie ahead. We turn inward to find ourselves, to listen to our inner voice. We turn outward to find others, to share moments of compassion and love. It is at this time, as the old year gives way to the new, that we look inward. reach outward, reaffirming the values that we cherish.
At times, we face a world cold and foreboding. We see suffering without cause. We see cruelty without reply. Looking into the blackness of the night sky, we are aware that the universe swirls, indifferent to human concern, and our courage may falter. Through a film of darkness, we search for light. Baruch Ha'or Ba'olam, blessed is the light within the world. Baruch Ha'or Ba'adam, blessed is the light within each person. Baruch Ha'or Ba'yom Tov, blessed is the light of the season. Like a beacon shining against a blackened sky, the flames of the candle lighten the darkness of our spirit, bringing forth warmth and comfort. The candles give us light, a healing far more powerful than darkness. We, like our ancestors, light the candles to dispel the darkness, to mark the beginning of Yom Kippur. We light these holiday candles to revitalize our ties to the past, to rekindle our determination to remember the tenacious spirit of our people, to remember the ties to our families and friends, to remember the moments of beauty and calm, to remember the times of love and laughter. We kindle the flame to mark the renewal of hope, the renewal of our energy as we search for the true sources of light. As the flame burns, we are comforted by the light, by the warmth springing up anew.
Yom Kippur is the day of honesty, a day to see the truths of our existence free from ornament, with guileless eyes. Yom Kippur is a day of honesty, a day to acknowledge, then respond to the brevity of our lives.
A day to examine the fears that make us mean-spirited and prejudiced. A day to recognize the significance of our action and our inaction.
A day to steal away from the noise, to discover stillness, and to listen. Yom Kippur is the day of honesty, a day to shed the tired skin of deception and feel the tenderness of truth.
The Kol Nidre chant oftentimes is easily misunderstood. Let me just read the text, because I think it's very interesting. It's let all our vows and oaths, all the promises we make, and the obligations we incur on ourselves between this Yom Kippur and the next. Kol Nidre is about what the future is. And I think it's such an interesting sort of concept that somehow our ancestors were worried about the future versus absolving ourselves of mistakes of the past. I've always read it as the year lays before us and we need to take a chance. Mm-hmm. And we may not succeed, but the goal is to try as hard as we can. And I'm wondering what it means to be forward thinking right now when we know that for the foreseeable future, we're going to be encased in this world that is defined by the coronavirus. How do I embrace life in its fullness when I don't think I can?
It's almost like a GPS, right? Like it's recalculating what the way we're going to get to the destination that we're there, you know, like there's a different route. I think the destination, the aspirational destination is still there, which is we're going to live a better life in this new year to come. The question is, what do we do when we don't have a map that's accurate for what's going on right now? Because it's unknown. Mm-hmm. Like the things that I might usually do, you know, maybe I want to lose weight, maybe I want to, you know, take care of myself, maybe I want to do X, Y, or Z. They seem to be less attractive to me than like, I just want to get up tomorrow and do the next right thing. And it's interesting, when this first started, I was like, oh, we're going to all be isolated and not be able to connect. And I've talked to people in my life more now than I ever did before, because there's an urgency for me.
So in some ways, maybe this Kol Nidre, this even more so reminds us about focusing on what's really essential in our lives. That the pandemic is, because it constricts life in some way, it also acts as a lens through which we focus our lives. And that the questions we should be asking ourselves this Yom Kippur is, what is essential in my life? What really is urgent? What is core to have meaning? And how do I make and find the opportunities in a complicated year to realize those things? Etched upon the memory of our people are images past, words once spoken, lessons once taught. The memory of generations resides within us. As we hear the Kol Nidre, we are connected to those moments, to stories of time lost to our consciousness. The melody beckons us, calls us to stretch beyond our present lives, returning to our distant past, imagining our future yet unlived. Let all our vows and oaths, all the promises we make and the obligations we incur on ourselves between this Yom Kippur and the next be null and void should we, after honest effort, find ourselves unable to fulfill them. Then may we be released from them.
Kol nidre v'yesarei v'charamei v'konamei v'kinuyei v'kinusei Ushavut Din Darna Udaish Tavana Karimna Vedia Sarna Aholna Sheta Miyom Kippurim Zeh Ad Yom Kippurim Abba Aleinu Latova Kolchon Icharat Navechon Kolchon Yehom Sharan Shvikin Shvitin Betelin Tumvutalim Lashrim Velakayami Din Darna Lanidre V'asara Nala Esare Ushavuatana Lashavuot.
We have acted against life both willingly and unwillingly, both knowingly and unknowingly. We have denied the best within us when we avert our eyes from the sight of the afflicted. We have acted against life when we block our ears to the cries of the hungry.
We have denied the best within us when we turn our backs on the plight of the dispossessed. We have acted against life when we silence our tongues in the presence of wrongdoing. We have denied the best within us when we mute our voices, refusing to join those who protest against injustice.
We
are sorry for our
actions.
We have acted against life when we close our hearts to the pleas of others who need our help. We have denied the best within us when we became numb to the suffering of others. We have acted against life when we step away from challenge, letting others act in our stead. We have denied the best within us when we cling to the safety of the known, too timid to take risks.
We have acted against life when we place more value on youth and beauty than on age and wisdom. We have denied the best within us when we fail to call those who sit, waiting for the sound of our voice. We have acted against life when we narrow our visions, demanding conformity from those we love. We have denied the best within us when we see our children as reflections of ourselves, not respecting their right to be different.
We have acted against life when we succumb to the intoxication of ambition at the expense of our family. We've denied the best within us when we are too busy to spend time with those we love. We have acted against life when we withhold a touch, leaving to others the drying of tears. We've denied the best within us when we hurt others, yet do not say we are sorry.
We have acted against life when we allow the moments to tick by without challenging ourselves. We have denied the best within us when we accept mediocrity and fail to test our limits. We have acted against life when we let pain and illness blind us to beauty. We have denied the best within us when we fail to appreciate what we have, dwelling on what we have not.
We
are sorry for our
actions. We have acted against life when we worry about the future, regret the past, and ignore the present. We have denied the best within us when we have grown too old for child's play. We act against life at this moment if we let this opportunity for self-examination drift by due to complacency or passivity. We deny the best within us when, knowing our principles, we choose not to act upon them.
We are sorry for our actions.
We have transgressed against life when year after year we mouth the words of these services, never turning our words into actions. We are prone to inertia, our lives tending to remain on track, immersed in details. Except for occasional turbulence, we stay fixed in a web of routine. The diversity of life's possibilities goes unexplored. Our unknown potential remains dormant. The world's problems abound wherever we look. Events become critical, and we are made instantly aware. Quickly, though, we calculate the distance misfortune strikes from our own lives and move on, steering a safe course down a familiar road.
What finally moves us in new directions? What propels us to make significant choices, inspires us to make bold changes? Occasionally, hearing of the illness of a friend or a loved one, experiencing the shock of a sudden death, we pause, looking inward for a moment. It seems that as we notice the quickened pace of time, when the quiet unveiling of our own mortality sets in, only then we are moved to resolution. When we comfort the pain that life offers, only then do we examine the web we have woven into our lives. The benevolence of time lulls us to sleep, but the reality that we lose our loves, our life, our world, awakens us to our singular opportunity.
Too often, we wait for the pain of life's experiences to prod us, but we need not wait for sorrow to urge our response. We can look to ourselves rather than to life's bitter experiences, to question our use of time, to use this precious limited resource in a more vital way. We must come to know our choices, to begin celebrating our lives, to revalue the web of our existence. We must challenge ourselves to find the time and the strength to rejoice in life's pleasures, give time to our loved ones, expend energy to make our world a better place. May we use time wisely, savoring its limits, considering well the measure of our days.
I spoke on Rosh Hashanah about the challenges of finding peace during the last 6 months and being still in a world of fire. Mindfully, we spent our week engaging in Musar and meditation, and here we are on Kol Nidre, the holiest night of the Jewish year, the sounds of Terry's voice resonating deep in our hearts. The night is poignant and full of presence. It is alive with purpose and possibility. On this night in Jewish tradition, in the Jewish year, we are charged to think forward, to look and see what this next year is really going to look like for us as individuals and as a community. Kol Nidre, the vows we make to change, to better ourselves, our community, and our country, thoughtfully and intentionally, mindfully, but also actively. Also actively. You know, sometimes it's important to get off that meditation pillow and step into the fight. This is the paradox of mindfulness and meditative tradition. It's not just about feeling good, but it's about staying in the practice when it is uncomfortable and hard. Staying in life, staying alive when it is uncomfortable and hard. Our world is uncomfortable and hard right now. Our world is still not okay. Our world is not good. But also, our world still has a lot of fight in it. And we still have a lot of fight in us. The play Hamilton was released this summer on Disney Plus, and our entire family gathered to watch it together. And for those of you who don't know of Hamilton, it's a musical play of the life of Alexander Hamilton through the lens of modern music and rap and a cast diverse and alive in beat and in color. Its lyrics are of revolution, set in the time of our country's founding, small in size but mighty in fight. In it, it talks of a world turned upside down and the revolution around that. Lin-Manuel Miranda, who created Hamilton and plays the central role, has a song about Alexander Hamilton and his compatriots. He sings, "Hey yo, I'm just like my country. I'm young, scrappy, and hungry, and I'm not throwing away my shot. I am not throwing away my shot." Well, like Hamilton, the world is upside down. But also like Hamilton, now is our time to take our shot, to not throw it away. Our country is still relatively young and learning about itself, sometimes painfully and sometimes violently, not so far removed from our founding fathers. You know what? It is time for us to be part of the revolution. It's our chance now to make a difference and shape our country. And it's also Beth and Tom's time now. During this pandemic, conventional Judaism has been shaken to its core. Congregations relying on rituals and big prayer services are scrabbling. Many people are leaving the religion and checking out. A recent community study has shown a large percentage of Cincinnati Jews are disenfranchised and not engaged. But not here. Not at Beth Adam. Why? Because we always take our shot. 6 months ago, we shut down our doors, moved the congregation online, and recreated what Judaism could look like, could feel like in the COVID world. We worked hard. We came together and we established new programs, daily coffee talks, weekly lessons, online adult ed, Shabbat services on Zoom, video interviews and meditations, and established new connections together. We knit together our online community with our bricks and mortar. Even though the storm came, we leaned into it. But that is what we do here. at 10001 Loveland Madeira Road. It's what you did on Section Road and at HUC and at Vermont School and in the Sax's basement 40 years ago. We at Beth Adam are built to move it forward, to not throw away our shot. It is who we are and who we have always been. 40 years ago, an intrepid band of Jews came together and built this community, changing the face of Judaism. We wrote our own liturgy, took a chance on a young rabbi with great vision. We worked patiently and bravely to establish and live out our values and mission. 40 years of hard work, 40 years of sweat and intellectual equity, 40 years of innovation and creativity. So when the storm came in March, we were ready. And through Rabbi Bar's leadership, we faced it head on and moved forward. 40 years, maybe not so young anymore, but surely scrappy and hungry and not throwing away our shot. We've continued to innovate, to pivot, to disrupt the norm, and create a new vision. Just look at our village, our religious school. 2 years ago, we as a community changed the model and created something unique and revolutionary. Our space is unlike any other in the world, just like this congregation. When COVID closed our village down, we pivoted and rebuilt once more. On the 13th of this month, we introduced a comprehensive online experience unseen anywhere that will excite and challenge our children, all thanks to the amazing teachers we have and our Beth Adam spirit of innovation and fight. Now for our village this year, we chose the theme of Jewish pirates. It's fun, it's entertaining, lots of R's and pirate garb, treasure to be found and adventures to be had. But we also saw pirates in a different light. They were disruptors. They were communal warriors against the mainstream. No matter how much Hollywood wants to portray them as scoundrels, they live by a proto-democratic code of community. And where's the Judaism and all that? The truth is many of them were Jewish. Jews who escaped the tyranny of 15th century Spain and with the inquisitors at their back came to a new world. Many Jews were cartographers and ocean-trained traders. They knew the banking industry. They had connections all throughout the world, and they hated the Spanish. So they robbed them blind and became a major part of Caribbean and Barbary pirate culture. Worldwide, these pirates fought for their freedom and sailed into many large storms, always together as a crew. I welcome you to join us this year on our exploration of Jewish pirates. Much, much more to come and many more adventures. But for now, in this moment, this Kol Nidre, think about what we have been through and continue to sail into as a community and a country. During Yom Kippur, we are asked to perform tshuva, turning to look at ourselves and how we can better ourselves. But my challenge this year is to not only turn inside, but turn into that oncoming storm. This year, we will have a chance to participate in great social and ideological history, a once-in-a-lifetime experience, where we will be asked, as we have been for the last 6 months, to be brave and stand up for community and what is moral and right. Revolution doesn't come from the easy. It grows in the hard-scrabbled dirt of loss and pain. This next year, we will be asked to see beyond the horizon and imagine how hard this is for all of human community. How climate change is creating drought and fires, how people of color are living in ongoing fear of death from COVID and those sworn to protect them, how the economy is tipping precariously between the successful world of stocks and bonds and the real world of hunger, joblessness, and loss of home. The storm is here, but we are together. And you know what? I would sail with this pirate crew anywhere, anytime. Why? Because you care. Because you've already proven that people matter more than programming, that Judaism is about who you are, not what prayer you say, that humanity is our responsibility, that to be small and scrappy is the way of the future. I don't know what will be asked of us in the coming months, but I do know that we will handle it and never, never miss our shot. It is Beth Adam's time once more to dream big and be brave, to sail on a great adventure. So onward together into this new year. Shana Tova, may it be a good one.
In time, disturbances will pass, difficulties will dissolve. In time, aggravations will be forgotten, obstacles will be overcome. In time, we will find solutions even to our most pressing concerns. Mountains move and even disappear. Clouds part, revealing an ever-present sun. In time, moments of desperation will give way to an inner calm, and through others, we will find comfort for our fears. In time, maybe find ways to accept life's unending turbulence completely and move gently forward in time.
We remember now those with whom we shared, those who gave us strength, those we cherished, those we loved. We remember them at daybreak as the sun peeks over the distant horizon. We remember them at dusk when vision is difficult and shapes poorly defined. We remember them at the first signs of spring as the first blossoms bloom. We remember them in the stillness of winter as the stark branches are set against a cold winter sky. We remember them when we are alone and afraid of tomorrow. We remember them at times of joy, wishing to share with them once more. We remember them at times of difficulty, waiting for advice that does not come. We remember them always, for they are a part of us now. Ein b'dei hamavet hakoach la'akor ma'ashdabun malev. Death cannot take that which is locked in our hearts. With our
tears and our
sorrow,
we remember.
we remember. With our
With our
courage
and our strength, we do not forget.
Acts
of kindness, deeds of courage will remain.
Beauty
created,
wisdom
wisdom
shared,
shared
is not lost.
With our tears and our sorrow, we remember.
We remember. Im dama'ot be'einenu, be'et evlenu, nishmor al zecher achuvenu.
With our tears and our sorrow, we remember.
We remember. Zeker Tzadik Livracha. May the memory of good people bless our days.
As it is written in the Talmud in Tractate Yoma 8:9, one's unloving acts, misdeeds, selfishness, or any act that causes another human being pain is not forgiven or forgotten on Yom Kippur until one makes peace with the one who was wronged. We have been wronged and we have wronged others. And though we gather with the best of intentions, what we have done is not changed by our presence. Those whom we have treated badly still feel the sting of our actions. The words we spoke in anger echo in the ears of those who felt our wrath. Our loved ones have been bruised by our misdeeds. The sins we have committed were not erased as we cross the threshold of this place.
Our presence this night does not serve as penitence for cruelty we may have inflicted, neglect we allowed, selfishness we enjoyed. And though the past remains, there is the potential for us to repair the damage we have caused. But this means we must find a new strength grounded in self-reflection, honesty, humility.
Too often we fear revealing to ourselves and to others that we are limited, that our actions are not perfect, that our judgments may be flawed. We fear that admitting our mistakes, acknowledging our failings, knowing we have wronged, will weaken us in the sight of others. It is only if we overcome these fears that we can achieve a strength we do not yet know.
Tonight, we allow feelings that often lie dormant to surface: regret, disappointment, shame, anger, not as self-flagellation, but as motivation. We leave here committed to changing, correcting, repairing that which we have done. For the meaning of tonight lies not in what we speak here, but in what each of us does when we leave this place. The meaning of this night lies within the acts of repair that we are willing to attempt.
The meaning of this night lies in our own apologies and in our willingness to hear when others seek out forgiveness. Though our service will draw to a close, our task has just begun. May we know blessings those who are near. May we know blessings those who are far. May this new year bring its goodness to everyone soon, wherever they are. May we know blessings for the day, and may we know blessings for the night. May health be for our children and for all people, and all things soon be right. May we know blessings in our comings, and may we know blessings when we depart. May we live each day with peace and wisdom in each heart.
Kenyahi.
Let it be.